Hi folks, I'm Sean, and today we're going to be comparing the Twister T2 against the Centurion Pro Gladiator. Just want to highlight something real quick before we get into it. This machine is very old. We used it extensively, but we haven't used it in quite a while. That's why it doesn't look in the best condition, but it was great when we were using it. The reason we're not using it is because we swapped over to a Gladiator. But we're going to compare the new one of these to the Gladiator and see how it stacks up and see if maybe we might switch back over again. Alright, so first things first, let's talk about the pricing of these machines. The Centurion Pro Gladiator comes in at $15,495 and the Trimmer T2 comes in at $16,829. So as you can see, they're quite similar in pricing, but that's why we're doing this comparison. We want to see what the differences are, what you get for those prices. So let's talk about the throughput of both these machines. It's not really that fair comparison because, as you can see, the Centurion Pro has two really big, massive tumblers on it, whereas the Twister only has the one. So let's compare how they would trim dry product. This will do about 15 pounds per hour, and this will do about 11 pounds per hour. And then when it comes to wet product, this is where the Gladiator really takes the lead. This will do about 75 pounds per hour, and this will do about 35 pounds per hour. Let's talk about the tumblers then. And on the Gladiator, you can see that it's got two, they're both the same size, they're both electro-polished, and they're both hybrid tumblers that will do both wet and dry product. They're 6.5 inches in diameter and 30 inches in length, both of them. So with the Twister, its tumbler is also a hybrid tumbler, does wet and dry, but they encourage you to swap it out for their specific dry tumbler if you're trimming dry. It's 6.25 inches in diameter and 38 inches in length. So let's talk about the hoppers of these two machines because they differ quite a lot in that area. The Twister T2 comes with a smaller hopper. It's I don't have it here to show you, unfortunately, but it's about 8 inches deep, and it only holds about two and a half handfuls of product. Their kind of philosophy is that they want you near the machine when you're loading it, so they give you a small hopper so that you can hand feed it yourself. Whereas with the Centurion Pro, it's a much bigger hopper that they give. It comes with a mesh hopper, but it's about 28 inches long and about 16 inches deep. It's much bigger. And that's kind of how they do it through their line as well. They tend to sell it with a bigger hopper than Twister does. Just one other thing that I forgot to mention about the Centurion Pro, you can also get a plastic hopper for this, so you don't have to just have the mesh one. You can get the plastic hopper made from a nice thick plastic. It's going to be much easier to clean than the mesh hopper, and everything slides in nice and easy. Both these machines come with leaf collectors. The Centurion Pro has a 4 horsepower motor on its leaf collector, and this comes with a 2 horsepower motor on its leaf collector. It makes sense when you think about it because there's two hoppers, or there's two tumblers here that it needs that extra power to suck the product into the blades. The Centurion Pro also comes standard, as all of their line does, with a keef collection system where it has like a 3-bag system, so it separates your trim from your keef. Whereas with Twister, to do something similar, you have to buy a system that they call the Trim Saver system, and it costs an additional $3,000, $3,200. So the new T2 that's out comes standard with a speed control that has like 2 stages on it, so that you can control the speed of the tumbler and the speed of the blade independently. That's really going to help you depending on the type of strain that you're trimming, because it's going to help you really finely adjust the speed of the blade and the tumbler. The Centurion Pro, the Gladiator, as standard, doesn't come with a speed controller. You can purchase one that will adjust the speed of the tumblers for $1,500, but it's only the tumblers, it won't adjust the speed of the blade independently. A Twister have made this machine so that it can be quite modular, so you can line up 2 additional T2s in front of one another like this, and along with the speed controller you can really dial in how you want your product to come out. It's a really great system. Also, however, recently Centurion Pro have come out with their own rail system where you can have up to 3 of these machines on a rail as well. That obviously has a huge output, as you've got 6 tumblers running at all times. Speaking about build quality and ease of use and maintenance and things like that, the T2 is kind of a little bit easier to maintain because They do encourage you to swap out your tumblers when you're doing dry, so they make it easy to take the tumbler out. Twister with the T2, they make it very easy to adjust the blade, how close the blade here is to the real blade spinning. All you have to do is adjust these two knobs here, and yeah, you can get a very nice close cut if you want to, or you can back it off if you want to too as well. On the Centurion Pro, it's still a good system. It just takes a bit longer to do because you need to take off, there's 4 bolts each holding down the brush here, and then you take out both tumblers, and then you have to adjust the blades individually on either side. That's the price you pay though for having 2 tumblers. One thing I will say though on both these machines, and it's an issue I have with machines from both of these companies, is that they don't have any kind of measurement on the side to let you know where the blade was before you moved it forward or what stage you've moved it to. So when it comes to mobility, both these machines are quite large, as you can see, and they both tackle the mobility question in different ways. The Centurion Pro is on casters, so that it's very easy to move around in small places, but it's not that easy to move around on any kind of harsh flooring or outside, stuff like that, whereas the Twister is on much thicker, bigger wheels, so if you needed to bring this somewhere up the field or out the front of your place, anything like that, it's much easier with these wheels. That being said, it's not very easy to move around. It took us quite a while to get it in here. A nice mix would be somewhere in the middle, where even if you had 2 casters on this and 2 big wheels on this, that might work better for them. On the design front, personally, I prefer the look of the Centurion Pro. I think it looks more compact and it's a bit neater. This one, even when it has all the panels on it, it's still a bit more, I don't know, it looks a bit like a generator that you just roll in somewhere. So it's a little bit more mechanical looking, whereas this is a bit more sleek looking. In terms of feel, they both feel very high quality. I think the Centurion Pro just feels a little bit more sturdy. That is just because of it just has a bit more mass to it. The steel is nice and thick. Everything is bolted down. I know I said that's an issue earlier, but it also means that stuff isn't like loose on it. Let's talk about the warranty on both these machines. The Centurion Pro has got an amazing 10-year warranty, and the Twister T2 has a 3-year warranty. So in conclusion, both these machines do a very similar job, they just do it in different ways. So for example, as standard, this comes with a speed control, a very advanced speed control, where you can adjust the speed of the blade and the tumbler independently. But it doesn't come standard with the trim saver system, which you kind of wish it would, because both these machines are around 16 grand. It's a lot of money. And then you add 3 grand on top of that, it brings it very close to 20. This, on the other hand, it doesn't come standard with a speed control box, but you can get one for it. But also, it does have a much higher output because it has 2 big tumblers on it. So depending on what way you run your business, both of them will do an amazing job. But if you want throughput, that's the big number for you, this is the one to go for. Also, on that note, just keep in mind that this, along with all of Centurion Pro's machines, this comes standard with Keef collection system. All right, that's it for us. Thank you to John Growers for helping us out with these videos. Until next time, take it easy. See you later.